Oh, you sure you don't want a drink, mate, or anything like that?
No, I'm all good. Yeah, cheers.
I was hoping you say yes. That way I can also have one with you, but that's okay.
Not a schooner, yeah. If you want
A schooner?
What do you mean?
Yeah, a schooner.
I love schooner.
Okay, well, we're 3 seconds into the podcast. Now we've got to pause it because we're going to grab a couple of beers for us.
Priorities.
Alrighty, ladies and gents. We are back, episode 44. Actually, no, 45, sorry. And we have, I've been teasing this all week, one of the biggest sporting content creators on the planet is sitting right next to me. You would have already seen the tab by now, but he's here right next to me. Tim Williams from the SC Playbook, ladies and gents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good to be here. On the planet, it's a good rap. I'll take it. Yep.
Absolutely.
Definitely don't fact check that one, but I will. And it's good to be back at a place I've spent a lot of time at, the Illawarra Hotel, having gone through university in Wollongong, and I've done some damage at this establishment to myself, not the pub. I wouldn't be like that, but it almost feels like home to be back here. So thanks for having me on,
mate. Absolutely, and shout out to the Illawarra Hotel hosting today's podcast. We're in the Hilda's pool room, and we've got our man Frank over here. If you can hear a couple of ball drops in the background, that's Frank, the pool man, the pool table guy. He's getting to work on this busted pool table that's been there for a little while. But Frankie, mate, say good day to the people. G'day, people. He said g'day. You probably won't be able to hear him, but like I said, we've got Tim Williams, SC Playbook, mates. Can I walk the people through how this has eventuated?
Hit us.
Now, for everyone who's listening, and I've mentioned SC Playbook, mentioned Tim Williams and Beers and Break-Evens and Guru and the boys from Bloke 1,000 times over the last 44 episodes, talking about Supercoach, etc., putting it out there into the universe, and just possibly one day getting lucky, maybe to bump into him. I shit you not, okay? A couple of Saturdays ago, I was at work and I was writing down my 2026, like, if I could just get some of these people on this year, it'd be a fucking good year. Number one guy, Tim, SC Playbook. I knew you were a local, and I shit you not, 4 hours later, I was at Woonona Bulli RSL, and our original plan was to head to Headlands in Ostie. Way too hot. It was that 45-degree day, if anybody remembers. So like, no, screw that. Woonona Bulli RSL inside, aircon. Take a seat. My God. The big fella's behind me. I don't believe it. Now you're having a couple of beers with some mates, and I wrangled you into a conversation on the way to the bar and started talking. You were very nice, mate, so thank you for welcoming me in.
I do my best, mate, yeah.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. It only took me 2 seconds to mention the podcast, and you're like, yep, no worries. I'll come on. And that was 3 weeks ago. And here we are.
Yeah, well, I mean, whether you believe in fate and destiny and all that or not, the timing of that, you literally got your notes up and you showed me, you were like, I wrote this 2 hours ago, and I was like, well, there you go. It's meant to be, so...
Meant to be. And
yeah.
You've been... you were like... Because we had a chat afterwards. And you're like, yeah, look, Matty the Water Boy's back in town, so that usually means Bloke's about to kick off. That usually means things about to ramp up. I haven't heard from Kempy, da-da-da. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet. Maybe, like, it's a quiet time for you, so maybe you can be able to hop on next week. And then I get a notification on Monday. Bloke's back. I was like... Oh, shit. Okay. Timmy Williams, he's going to be a busy, busy man. And here you are, man. You still made time for me. So to the people of Wollongong, everybody who's listening, and around the world, we cracked 6 countries, actually, which is unreal.
Beautiful.
Everyone who's listening around the world, SC Playbook. If you play Supercoach, I'm just going to get this straight off the rip. Play Supercoach, subscribe to SC Playbook, because that is the only way you get to the grand final like I did. And sadly lost, though.
It'll change your life, Supercoach.
It certainly will.
Not even if you're a footy fan, even if you're like, for a lot of women out there who have partners who are footy obsessed and they're forced into sitting there watching game after game. I know I've got a few friends like that, and they've had a crack at Supercoach, and then it just changes your world, and they then become as obsessed as the blokes, or it might be vice versa, of course. And yeah, so if you're on the fringe of footy, or you're forced to watch a lot of it for reasons you may or may not want to, Supercoach will it'll give you the interest that you need.
Absolutely. And then all of a sudden your missus will be like, "You what? You loop Teddy?
Yeah.
Why?" Well, that's probably a good call, but if you make a split-second decision at the pub, like I did for the grand final, and we'll touch on Supercoach in depth, then your missus, she's all across it, and she gives you a bit of a bake. It's like, why would you do that? We'll get to it. Now, Timmy Williams is a Wollongong local. You spent 4 or 5 years here at uni?
Yeah, about that. I did studied at UO-Dub, was on campus at Campus East for a couple of years.
Is that what they call it at uni, UO-Dub?
UO-Dub, yeah.
Is that what they call it?
When did I finish there? About 10 or so years ago, or maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. So it was UO-Dub back then, so I don't know if we should go with that. But
UO-Dub?
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
UO-Dub.
So I probably lived here for about 5 or 6 years, and the idea was always to get back because I love the place.
Mate, how real. It's unreal. Like, if you're leaving here, I don't know why. You know what? You've probably rooted too many people here, and then you have to leave because it's a pretty small place.
Not my issue, but for a good-looking bloke like you, I can understand how that would happen.
Thanks, mate. I'll slip you that 20, I promised you, before we hopped on screen. But no, Wollongong's one of the great places, mate. So you've come full circle. You studied down here, then moved away, now come back. Is this it for you, Wollongong?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I'm from Cooma originally, sort of down south of Canberra there, a little country town, and went from there to uni in Wollongong, had that 5 or 6 or so years here, and I knew then, mate, I'd been here for about 3 months. I'm like, this is where I want to be long term. And
mate,
there was a bunch of our mates who, we had a really, really big group of boys and girls, mates from uni who spent a similar sort of time here, and a lot of them were sort of from the country, a few from Canberra and whatnot, and we made the move to Sydney, Cronulla, for again about 5 or 6 years there, just to sort of test the waters and see what it's got to offer.
Yeah.
And then over probably the last 18 months, we've all started migrating back down to Wollongong, where I think everyone's settling pretty nicely. So it's
Mate,
good.
it's a fair call. It's a fair call. I've lived here since I actually grew up in Campbelltown.
Right, I went to school in Campbelltown. So
Went to school in Campbelltown?
St Greg's for 11 and 12.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Is
Footy
that where
nerd.
you're footy nerd?
I'm a footy nerd, yeah.
So is that where you really honed your footy knowledge? St Greg's?
I've been honing the footy knowledge from day dot. That was where I was honing my footballing ability, which probably capped at the same time. Yeah, I had some grand aspirations of playing in the NRL one day, but when I was sort of 19, 20 and trying to sort of crack into Raiders 20s and that, and I was about 60 kilos ring and wet, I think I got the tap on the shoulder to say, mate,
It's not going to happen.
go play Aussie rules or something because you don't have enough size about you, or ability for that matter, but we tried.
Now, a lot of the listeners would know who you are and your story, but I tell you what, meeting you in person, you're a lot taller
Yeah, right.
than you are than what you see him on the YouTube or
Okay.
just listen to you and also being on Bloke. Maybe because that's a lot of the time you're sitting down and you're just in front of the lappy and you're punching out stats, but you're a lot taller.
I've got a bit of height, yeah.
You must be 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, about that, maybe 6'1".
6'1", guys. That's unbelievable. And how tall is Guru, you reckon?
Oh, about 4 foot. Not a lot of size about the Roo, which I thought I'd come across as tall on it because I sit next to Guru so often, but there you go.
No, well,
deceiving.
See, it's deceiving. I reckon the camera angle. I reckon maybe he's just got it a little bit lower and looking up.
Yeah.
Just what the old Bruno Mars, in the film clips.
Tactical.
Tactical one. That's hilarious. So staying in the Gong now. I haven't been to the Illawarra Hotel for a little while. What's your local? The beaches?
Probably Beaches and Ryan's in Through,
Yeah.
Two cracking pubs. And
Some of the great places there. My goodness. My brother's gone for an absolute rip and tear at the Ryans. His brother... Oh, I've had a massive stroke. My brother's name is Ryan, and you do your SC Playbook with your brother.
yes.
That was unveiled. Huge. Now, he's a... He's a Supercoach nerd, you reckon?
Massive Supercoach nerd.
More than
puts
you?
me to shame, yeah.
Wow.
We're sport in general, but for anyone who does play Supercoach either or probably doesn't, it's News Corp sort of... They expanded News Corp, who runs Supercoach, expanded to NFL and EPL and NBA and all these different formats. And I'm sort of playing NRL. I do Supercoach EPL. I love my EPL as well. I'm playing NBA, but that's just for a little bit of fun sort of thing and a bit of interest. And we have content around it, so to keep in the loop with that. But my brother for years has done like EPL fantasy. He does NFL. Knows nothing about NFL. He finished like
Fucking
50th
hell.
or something overall. It's ridiculous. If there's a fantasy format, the Spy, as we call the big fella, he's having a crack.
Wow. So that's all now ramped up for you guys. So you're back in full swing. Now, what does that look like for you? Like, is this the most hectic time leading into the start of the season? Like, is this the biggest time? Obviously, you got the season preview coming up for Bloke. Like, what does that look like from your point of view?
It's not actually too bad. Like, this year's probably busier than it's ever been for a few reasons, but because we've had that expansion at SC Playbook 2, we're now covering NFL, NBA, EPL.
Oh, you guys are covering that?
Doing all of it, yes. We've got teams of contributors and podcasters for all of that, and AFL's coming into the fray as well this year. So there's a lot going on, which has made this time of year busier, but the in-season, once it all kicks off, is a lot busier, and it's all because during the season it's time sensitive, so the biggest time in the NRL Supercoach week is 4 p.m. Tuesday, team list kick-off. So then the round starts at Thursday evening sort of thing. So you want to get the podcast out and as much quality content out as you can between those two time slots, and you just have to be placed at exact times to get this out by this time. Pre-season's a bit more chill. It's like...
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you've got no kickoff, no timeline, no deadlines or anything like that during the pre-season.
I'm sitting there like during the season, like I have to have this article done by this time and get it out. Like pre-season, I'm like, I plan to write a Bulldogs preview or something. This morning, and if you're a bit busy and you're held up, you go, I'll do it tomorrow. Like it doesn't matter.
Sure.
So it's quite nice this time of year.
If you're like, it's midday, I've got to hop on this flog that I met once podcast.
Exactly, yeah. Happens all the time, don't worry.
Oh, I could just imagine. When I met you, actually, like I said, super sincere, more than happy to hop on the podcast, which really means a lot. But when we met each other, I was literally just a bloke in the bar.
There you go. It's a good name, isn't it?
Oh, that's a great name.
It works. It
It's
works
a
on
great
so
name.
many levels, yeah.
Absolutely. So once again, can't thank you enough for coming on. Now, a little bit more about the meme poll. We've become number one in Wollongong. But what our plan was, what my plan was, is just create a platform for probably just young people in general, just create a platform that I probably needed when I was coming through the ranks as a young fella. Obviously, we talk a lot of footy, we talk a lot of shit, we talk, like giving things a crack. Don't be afraid of like failing, that type of stuff. And it's sort of all intertwined into into the podcast. So we go off the rails here. Sometimes it's things happen that we can't help. We lost one of our best mates late last year. And our biggest thing throughout the whole podcast has just turned out to be telling your mates you love them. That's how we finish every podcast. And mate, it's grown into what I could never have imagined in such a short time. And as you can tell, the setup's pretty rogue. It's pretty out there, but
Nothing wrong with Rogue.
we all have to start
Especially
somewhere.
when there's schooners off tap. So
Exactly. Shout out to the Illawarra for a couple of freebie scoobers. Nothing wrong with giving stuff a crack. So when you first gave SC Playbook a crack, coming out of the Daily Telegraph, nerve-wracking, scary? Like, were you sort of dabbling in the waters? And then what was that moment like going full-time into SC?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was not really nerve-wracking. Like, it was certainly something that I was leaning on. I was at the Telegraph for about sort of 5-6 years, working in and around sport there, primarily NRL and in the digital department. And I loved it, and I learnt so much from them. I worked with such, experienced people there, both in the production side of things, the reporters, working alongside like Buzz, for example, and Dave Riccio, who's one of the absolute legends, and was really looked after there.
Is it the Italian Ferrari?
The Italian Ferrari. Riccio.
Riccio.
Yeah. Got some wheels on him, Riccio. As
Apparently.
We
Holy
saw
hell.
at
Or unless Tom's slow as fuck.
It's both. The Italian Ferrari's got a few years on Burmo as well, as we saw at the famous buy-around, the race that stopped the nation.
That was the race.
But being able to work with that lot was fantastic. And I probably eagerly wanted from day dot. My dream was, like a lot of young footballers, to play NRL. And when I very quickly realised I wasn't good enough to do that, it was, all right, what's the next best thing? And it was report and go to games and be paid to be at these events sort of thing. So which I was fortunate to be able to do a bit of at the Telegraph. But the longer I was there, it was just harder to get out of the office and locked in there and working, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, which it's sport journalism. That is the job, and there's no two ways about it. I was also playing footy at the time. I'll probably appease a few listeners if it obviously been Wollongong based, but the mighty West Devils at the time. So, funnily enough, I'm living in Thirroul now, who we knocked off in a Reggie's grand final at that time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so look, my allegiance hasn't changed, but I have softened on the Butchers now being a local up there.
Well, mate, if I can quickly interject, I grew up playing for Corrimal.
The Cougars.
For the Cougars,
Tyson Frizzell territory.
Mate, I played with Tice.
There you go.
So he was in my team, and then I was in the same Illawarra representative side as Cookie.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So I was in number 9 behind him because you're...
Well, I was number 9, and I was coming off the bench for Cook.
Yeah.
Safe to say I didn't get much game time.
Yeah. Well, we had, for anyone who listened to SC Playbook, Wilson Carlos, one of the more knowledgeable football heads in the world. He's Queensland-based, and he was a gun footballer coming through as well. Funnily enough, also a number 9, and he was behind in the junior grades a bloke by the name of Cameron Smith. The exact same age, same region, same rep teams, all that. So it's like, sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. Unlucky. Yeah, I was probably second or third string behind Cookie, and Frizz was in my team, and just you could tell, like Frizz went on to play like Australian schoolboy rugby, like straight from Corrimal, went to sign with a rugby team in Sydney, and then went Australian schoolboys, then into the Sharks.
Went all right.
Unbelievable. So Corrimal, as I was growing up, and Thirroul, massive rivalry.
Yeah.
And I've since given it up, but I went back for a year. As you do, like when you're early 30s, you're like, can we relive the glory days?
Scratch the itch. I've got more to offer.
100%. Like, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Few of the boys came back that I grew up with playing, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is my time. Went back. How long do you reckon I lasted?
Let me guess, 30 minutes into game 1, Hammy went.
Thankfully not. Not the old David Peachy. 2.5 games.
That's all right. That's better than most.
Torn pec.
See, the issue you had there was having a pec. I've never had to worry about these injuries because I don't have pecs. I'm like, I see them all the time in the NRL, and I'm like, torn pec. I'm like, how do you tear that?
Oh,
the
mate.
answer is you don't. So, but
mate,
that's a bugger.
Oh, God. I would have taken a torn tammy.
Torn tammy.
Another stroke for the listeners. They love when I fuck it up.
That's all right. We all do it. Happens the best. But, yeah, and anyway, I was at the telly, and I was just trying to play footy of a Saturday arvo, and I remember sort of trying to I was like, I'll work Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever. Cause I'm like, can I push my start time back 2 hours on a Saturday to be able to play footy? And got the don't argue from him, politely.
Yeah, sure.
But just like, nah, sorry, we need you in here this time. I'm like, no worries. And by that time, when I was struggling to get out of the office and going a bit stir crazy, and then couldn't play my footy of a Saturday, I was thinking, I need to change, and sort of had the idea for SC Playbook, which had been brewing for a while, and I'm like, now's as good a chance as ever. And I was. Again, I think I'd sort of just moved up to Cronulla by that time, and just thought, why not take a bit of a chance on it? So went out and started Playbook.
Unreal. Now, so you're living in Cronulla, working at Daily Telegraph, but you're playing for West Devils?
I played, probably it all aligned pretty similarly. So I didn't travel down from Cronulla to the Devils, no. I was playing Devils for probably the first, I don't know, maybe 3 or so years I was at the telly, or... Yeah, early days.
Because you're living down here?
Yeah, when I was down here.
Yeah, okay.
Then I moved to Cronulla, and sort of, I probably, from memory, it was a while ago now, but I would have had a year off, or maybe 2 years off footy because of not being able to get out of work.
Sure.
So I think I was kind of like, I want to get back and play some footy. So then I left there, and I actually ended up playing the following year with the Como Crocodiles. So, yeah, it worked. But then I was playing a game with the Crocs as COVID hit and as Sydney went into lockdown. And I was in the halves that day with Mania Watiri, who is a Shire local, and he debuted in the NRL with the Raiders last year. We were in the halves together.
Right.
Yeah, he was...
Is that a surreal moment? You're like, oh, wow.
Well, Mania was one of them ones. He was probably 18 at the time. I think he was sort of in the sort of Sharks jersey flag squad, and we all sort of sat there and went, kid can play. Like, he'll be here for a limited time, and we sort of got word that Sydney was going into lockdown, and I was like, shit, like I need to get back to Coomera. Like I don't want to be cooped up in an apartment.
Yeah, that's a good call, actually.
My parents are in Coomera. I'm like, beautiful property down there, no lockouts at the time or anything. So I spent the whole warm-up in that game trying to work out, right, how do I get out in time before everything locks down sort of thing.
Oh, was it like that? It's
yeah.
like basically got to get out now.
Well, at the time it was.
Yeah, well, I suppose we didn't really know, did we?
Knew nothing. So
I couldn't had no idea.
Here I was thinking, like, the second 6 p.m. hit or whatever, there'd be guards on the border with their rifles saying, get back where you belong. Sort of.
It did feel
it
like that,
wasn't that way, but that's what was going through my head. And yeah, actually, when I launched Playbook, I launched it in January 2020. COVID hit March 2020. It was about round 2 of the NRL season. So I'd gone out on my own and launched this business, and rugby league, the NRL literally stopped for the first time since World War II. And I was like, awesome. And I wasn't even in a position, like, because I was Supercoach based, like I needed action.
Well, of course,
and games beyond, like, other content creators could do interviews during that time or a bit more rugby league chat. I'm like, I need to talk about what happened in games sort of thing. Anyway, so I did eventually get back to mum and dad's, which was lovely, and sort of still had the spot in Sydney, but had a bit more freedom down there, which was nice. And then Saint PVL, true to his word, got the game going by, from memory, it was about May 26th, and I was a very thankful young starter. And so I was able to get back into a bit of action there and got myself back up to Cronulla, and sort of all things went from there.
And then, the game was out for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
At least. So from memory, it was about around 2 or 3. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was it, which would have been mid-March, and I don't think it got back to the end of May. So yeah, they're probably looking at maybe 8 or 9 weeks, roughly.
And how crazy, like, PVL coming on board? Do you reckon any other administrator can get us through like that? Like
Not a chance.
No way.
At least, I mean, for many reasons, but I remember, again, it was so significant to everyone, but like footy was kind of like, people wanted it back because they loved it and they wanted a distraction from everything that was going on with COVID, but I remember it so vividly because I was like, this is my job.
Yeah,
I've just left the Telegraph for sort of thing. And I remember when he came out and said, the NRL will be back on deck by May 26th or whatever he said. And I just remember people tearing him to shreds.
They were.
Calling him arrogant, calling him a dickhead and all that.
First, a sporting company or sporting body to go back in the world?
I think it was. Yeah. And I remember, I think from memory, Finland or Sweden or someone kept playing sport through it all, and screw it. Anyway, it didn't end up well for them. It eventuated, but yeah, and he said he'd do it, and people called him nuts and all sorts of names, and he just went, as true to his character, said, I'll do it. And he did. Like, it's one of the most remarkable feats of what he was able to do as an administrator through that period.
Absolutely. And still to this day, it will never be replicated.
No.
Like, that whole, like, actually, I couldn't imagine it. Having a start-up and you're like, actually got no games to even post about, no stats to even rely on, nothing. And then the old PVL, the saviour. Now, do you reckon, speaking of PVL, do you reckon he's going a little bit too hard? Do you reckon it's a little bit too much too quick?
I mean,
in terms of expansion, where the games are, the rule changes, the ever-growing thirst for quick-paced footy.
Yeah, I mean, he's mad as a cut snake, but I've just learned to just put so much belief into him because I'm like, true. He does a lot of things and says a lot of things that seem rogue, and I'm like, they tend just to eventuate. I will say about, and I mean, it's not all on PVL. Like, there's a whole administration that are pitching these new NRL rules. I do think that the state of the game's in such a good place. There's been a lot of rule changes in recent years. It's like, you don't need to fix what ain't broken. And like, they do this, to be fair, every single year in sort of January, February. Rule changes get leaked to the media for this publicity test of, right, how do the public respond and that sort of thing. And they gauge it. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's it's good business, really.
They used to do that with movies and that sort of, with kids' movie, have like a bunch of kids in a room and just show them the movie and see if it catches their attention or not.
It's exactly
the same thing.
They get the feedback in that, and every podcast or an NRL show and all that in Australia sit there and blow up about it or say, I love this or hate that. They'd be listening to all of it, sort of just gauging the response, and from the general public, of course, and they'd go, all right, tick, cross, tick. But for that being said, rugby league's in such a good place. The NRL is in such a good place. Very few things need to change, in my opinion. Yeah,
well, I agree. But can you tell the listeners, the watchers, what rule changes are actually coming in for 2026? Like, there've been a bunch floated. I think there's a little bit confusion of what's actually coming. Is the kickoff rule actually coming in, or was it sort of floated and now it's backtracked?
Nothing's been confirmed.
Nothing?
No. So they've only floated them all. So there's this talk of a 6-man bench, which I think is absolutely ludicrous for a number of reasons, but the main reason being, I just feel for the clubs. Like, you put a 30-man squad together based around having 17 players to choose from on game day. It changes the dynamic of a bench and of a roster and all these things, and it's teams, like, especially a change as significant as that, it takes time to prepare a squad for what you want. And at the end of the day, it's a sport. Fans love it. It's a business.
Yeah,
and these
of
clubs
course.
need to win, to generate revenue, to do all these things. And all of a sudden you do a change as substantial as that, and you go, it'll suit some teams and some rosters, sure, but there'll be others.
Absolutely.
There'll be others that'll go, shit, like, this doesn't suit our 30-man roster for whatever reason. So, yeah, I don't think any of them have been confirmed as yet, whether or not any come in, but...
Yeah, okay, cool.
There was, about a month ago, there was sort of 4 to 5 major rule changes that they mentioned, but to my knowledge, none have actually been brought in yet.
Wow, okay, right. And what are your thoughts on AFB's, like, I read his quote the other day that the NRL just seems to be changing the rules to suit the smaller, quicker, more dynamic players and leaving the big fellas behind, almost making it so hard for them. They have to push harder to play longer minutes, and with maybe like the possibility of reduced bench, forcing big fellas out of the game. We've already seen it with Nas. Like, AFB's come out, he's like, this is getting harder and harder for the big boys.
I think it's fair, right?
It's a fair call,
and again, rugby league is a business. They want tries scored, they want line breaks. You know, traditional footy fans, we're happy to see a bit of a grind and quality football and, you know, keep a side in their end, kick deep, complete, aka the Penrith Panthers. To the average footy fan, that can probably... Like, you think of Melbourne back in, you know, their golden era. I mean, their golden era's gone for about 25 years, but... yeah,
When's it going to end?
Yeah,
God, please.
What was it, 06 to sort of 2010, 11, 12, 13, and onwards, and they're a bit robotic like that, and that's great, but the style of footy was a bit boring. So the NRL and PVL in particular, looking at it from a business perspective, they want tries, they want entertainment, they want Ponga and Walsh carving up, and I mean, I don't agree with this, but unfortunately that doesn't necessarily lend itself to the bigger boys because they're trying to speed the game up at the detriment of players because there are so many injuries because of how fast-paced the game is. And
100%.
But we're definitely seeing some big boys phased out, and again, that's okay, but you can't bring in these rule changes too quick. Around COVID, when they brought in the 6 again rule, and instead of penalties where they'd get these stoppages, which I quite like the change for most reasons. There are a few negatives to it, but again, the big boys, it happens so quickly, and it's like, I remember players like Cassiano, to be fair, was probably a bit earlier, but a Cassiano type, or I know Shannon Boyd was sort of still in and around the mix around that time, or the back end of it, and the game's too quick for those real big boppers. AFB, he's just a phenomenal
fairly
athlete.
Dynamic.
He's
on
kind
his
of an
feet.
exception because he's as big as a lot of those boys, maybe not those two I mentioned, but he's so fit, he's so agile.
100%.
He's special, but again, to get really nitty-gritty with rugby league and the evolution of the 13 role in probably the last, 5 or 6 years, maybe a bit longer, it's become this sort of smaller ball-playing lock like a Brandon Smith or like to a lesser degree, Cameron Murray, not necessarily the big bopper.
Yeah.
And these smaller guys with the footwork and a bit more agile, they're having more success. So I do feel for the big boys. We're just getting to a point with the rules keep going as they are. You're just going to have to be an absolute powerhouse athlete like Tino Fuamalawi, like some of these just
the
animals.
Harseys, the Terrell Mays, these standout guys that are just like changing the game.
As someone who is smaller and had a little bit of speed and agility going through the ranks and used to get belted from pillar to post by big blokes, I wish I would have brought it in 10 years ago, but it's a little too late for me. So
you're right. I think that's how I tore my pec. Trying to tackle one of those big boppers. But look, we could talk footy all day. Look, I'm a massive footy head. But let's get back into the Supercoach stuff. So SC Playbook. I really wanted to know, do you ever feel pressure? Like, you know, when you put your captains out there, do you ever feel pressure like making the right trade, knowing that a lot of people are going to follow suit?
Not really. because I'm pretty good accepting that I can only control so much.
Yeah,
At the end of the day.
So you're at this point where you're like, if you guys follow suit and I fuck it up, then...
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's inevitable it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, I do all my research and I do my best at it and I go relatively well at it most of the time.
Yeah.
Things will go wrong. And, in terms of pressure and, of course you get like trolls online. It's, good tip with this shit one, mate. There are literally ones where blokes will get injured 2 minutes into a game and I'll have had them as a trade in that week. And they're like, yeah, good tip, dickhead. I'm like, sorry, I couldn't foresee an injury sort of thing. But, I mean,
always plebs out
yeah,
there.
not really, mate. I think it probably helps. I've had a pretty good run of results. I came runner-up back in, funnily enough, in 2020, the year I launched it, which was... very fortunate for a startup.
Speaking of serendipitous,
yeah.
wow.
But it's my only real bludger of a season, especially since launching Playbook, was 2 years ago. Things just did not go well for me. I made a few poor moves, etc. And I wouldn't say I felt pressure last year, but I was kind of like,
okay,
I don't have too bad back-to-back seasons because then you're sort of like, is this guy legit or not? But fortunately, bounced back last year, so I'm good for another year.
Now that you mentioned it, when you came runner-up, you were still with the Daily, is that right?
No.
Oh, so
that was the first year I launched Playbook.
So you came runner-up, and you had the potential of winning the 50 grand?
It was a sniff.
Can you walk us through it? What was that like? Because I played in the grand final of like just my mate's comp for like $1,000.
Yeah.
50 grand on the line. And there's probably what? Were you like top 20 and it's like you ended up coming runner-up? Like, what was that week like? What was those decisions like when it's coming down to captain and VC? Talk about pressure. I'd be shaking.
Yeah, I don't get that nervous around things. I probably get a bit nervous around my own sport when I'm playing because that's where I do heap a bit of pressure on myself. But Supercoach is like, I've done my research, I know my knowledge, but that weekend, having launched the business that year, the income naturally took a hit.
Absolutely.
I was shitting bricks that weekend, and especially the Friday night game. I'll never forget it. I was at Zinc Bar in Cronulla watching with mates, and it was the Rabbitohs and the Roosters, and it was a pretty famous game that those two sets of fans would remember. And the Bunnies put like 60 on them, and I had Cody Walker and Cam Murray, and they were both relative pods. I think Cody, like very few people owned, and Cam Murray was sub 20% ish. Cody broke the Supercoach record at the time and scored 200. Cam Murray was like 180. And I was kind of like, I think I've got this. Because I think I was coming second.
Yeah, right.
So then for the rest of the weekend, I was a bit on edge there. But I think I was on edge on account of the potential money that was to be won.
No,
but,
of course.
But in terms of my team itself, same thing, mate. Like, I'd made my trades, put my captains on, all that. It's like, I can't control what happens when they're out there. I'm only picking a team on a computer. So it's like, I remember the first game that round, actually. Yeah, that's right. It's a good memory. Thursday night, the Broncos played someone, and I had Tony Staggs as a pod. And he was largely responsible for getting me to that sort of second spot.
Okay.
And he started the game. He was just flying. And he was on an absolute tear again in this game for about 8 minutes. And then he did his ACL. And I just, he was on track I think he scored about 20 or something. He was on track to go 130 plus. And no one had him. And I don't think anyone in that sort of top 10 or whatever had him. And I just went, oh no. Kidding? But again, it's like, ouch, because if that doesn't happen, I win. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't control it. Poor old Tony Starr's just done his ACL.
Yeah.
His career.
There are worse things.
His career, he's out for 9 months now, and that, impacts him. And it's like... And the other thing with Supercoach and the way I approach it, especially that it is for the large part of my life, because it's my business and I do love it, is that it's like you can't let it dictate your emotions or any of that, especially like I've got a partner and all that, and I'm like, don't get upset about things because when one shit thing happens, the next day a good thing will happen or whatever, and it's like, as much as we love it, us Supercoaches, we're fanatical, it's a game at the end of the day. So I'm like,
mate, I'm glad you got that mindset because anyone who's like getting into it, you'll get roped in and you'll be like, fuck, I'm just captain and he's just like head knock and he's gone for the game, 2 points. You're like,
it happens.
It does happen.
And it happens, it will happen. And that's the thing.
Absolutely.
But even in that instance, I had that on the Thursday and then on the Friday, my pod point of difference player, low ownership, broke the record in Supercoach against their arch rivals. Then my other bloke was about 20 off breaking the record. I'm like, okay, so just relax.
Yeah, exactly. It turns around pretty quickly,
Yeah.
old Supercoach. It's God, it's a beautiful thing. I absolutely can't wait. This is my favourite part of the Supercoach season. Leading into like the season, unlimited trades like you posted the other day, and just like swapping in and out. Who can I do this, that? I actually brought in Reece Walsh. That's who got me to the grand final last year. I brought him in just before his bye in like round 19 or something like that. And then I could never have imagined the absolute run of gloriousness. It was like 10 weeks of like 150s.
Yeah.
Except like a 30 against the Storm. And then I went against him in the final one. Turbo was playing the Dragons. And I thought, fuck, I'm at the pub. I'm watching the game. I'm just going to VC Turbo, like last minute. And old mate, who I was versing, had a VC on Walsh. And I was like, yeah, I'd just love to see a Turbo just go 150 and neg Walsh. I think Turbo ended up pulling 80. And then I went home and watched.
I reckon Turbo, I could be wrong, I reckon Turbo like 35-40.
Was it worse?
From memory, it was extremely
Against the Dragons?
Against the Dragons. Because I remember,
it might have been. It was very underwhelming.
They were meant to blitz them, and then the other one, the Panthers were playing.
That's right, they were meant to blitz them.
Someone that they were meant to, and I think did blitz. So Dylan Edwards was the other one.
Oh, that's right.
They both went like 35-40 or something, and then
Walshy. I literally watched there. I sat there and watched the whole game. Walsh went 160.
Yeah.
Man.
Ouch.
That's it. It's all over.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, that maybe did impact my mood for a little bit.
Well, that's a little bit of a difference because when it happens during the season, you're like, all right, there's always next week. You know, I'll have the highs, I'll have the lows. At that point in the season, you're like, it's all down to this weekend.
Yeah.
There will not be a next week. Yeah.
Fuck,
so that's where you're allowed to be really pissed off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like we got a ring that gets made up,
Yeah.
and like everyone flaunts it.
Yeah.
So close. But anyway, Supercoach season is live now. So you want to go into SC Playbook, subscribe. Absolutely. Can we talk about beers and break evens?
We can.
You and Roo.
The Roo.
The great man Roo, great content creator. Apparently 4 foot tall. The Felice Garuski. Has that been shaved off yet, or is that still there?
You know what? He wears a hat all the time, so I don't even know. Like, I've been with him the last 2 days,
Yeah.
but he never takes the freaking hat off, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I'd never seen him take the hat off.
I do know. I do remember him saying yesterday that it's coming back at a very promising rate. He was pretty bullish about it.
Yeah, okay,
Because he
right.
thought he was done for life for, hair on the dome.
Yeah.
But he reckons it was starting to come back, so he was pretty excited yesterday. Yeah.
But the beers and breaking, that's a lot of fun. So your SC Playbook's very like data driven, statistics, beers and break evens, a lot of fun.
Bashing each other.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, guys have a competition with each other. You reigning champion now.
Thank God.
How's that feel? Surely
Wonderful.
just been in the face, just drilling it into the face.
Yeah, it's been great. He got me the first 3 years.
The first 3 years?
Yeah.
I thought it was the first two.
And
First three.
2 of the years, it was honestly, came down to the final weekend. He got me by all of like 20 or 30 points from memory. Then I had the bed shit year 2 years ago. I needed it.
Yeah.
And I was probably coming in as the more experienced super coacher and the classic player. Guru loves his draft as well. So, yeah, I needed it.
Can we talk about drafties? What's going on there? Does anybody actually play draft?
There's drafties out there and they're passionate folk.
If you're playing draft, I ain't got time for you.
Not a draft man.
Not a draft man. I'm a classy kind of guy. Always have been, always will. Never be able to get myself around a draft.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're a drafty, or do you dabble?
I love the format. To be honest, I just through the footy season, I'm very busy and I'm also very competitive. So, like, especially Tuesday nights, like, again, getting into sort of the niche Supercoach stuff, but the waiver wire opens overnight on sort of Tuesday night into Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And I record Playbook from 4 p.m. Tuesday into Beers and Break Evens. We do a few episodes there, and I'm sort of heading back to Wollongong at sort of 10 p.m. of a Tuesday night. Basically, if I do draft, I want to do it, I want to do it well, and I want to win.
Nice.
That entails me then getting home at 10 o'clock and looking at these waivers. I'm gassed. I'm just like, you know what? Just don't. But I am doing this year for this official Supercoach launch, a draft with like Kempy and Guru and
exclusive.
And there's a bunch of others involved in it. So we're doing it in a few weeks' time. And then the launch, we're sort of getting interviewed and talking to our picks, and it's a big sort of shebang at Allianz Stadium.
Right. Going to make a bit of content around it.
Yeah. So mate, it's like there's a heap of people going. I know like SCN are going to be there, and Scope and Matty Rogers will be there, and Cooper Johns is coming along. So it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, mad.
But yeah, so off the back of that, I've essentially been forced into draft this year. As I said, I actually love the format. I think it's fantastic. I'm just time conscious.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so we're into it. So I will be getting home of a Tuesday night and looking at the walk.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, obviously, you're down here. Do you catch a train up? Do you drive up?
I do both. I either train or drive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So the studio's in Alexandria, so it's a real prick of a place for the train.
That's a prick of a place.
Because you've got to...
There's no public transport whatsoever.
You change at Walleye Creek to Green Square, and then it's about a 15-minute walk from there up to the studio. So the drive is a lot more efficient. But I don't mind the train. I just, for that location, it's a pain in the butt.
Fuck, that's a pain in the ass. You have 2 trains and a 15-minute walk. Yeah. And that's the last thing you want to be doing at like 8:30 at night.
On a Tuesday, I'll drive every time because because it's out of peak hours and I leave at 10 at night. It's like you get down to Thirroul in like honestly it's 45, 50 minutes. It's unreal. Whereas during peak hours, further.
So you record Bloke on Monday, and then you roll into SC Playbook straight after that.
Playbook Tuesday 4:30.
Is that when you record?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So you go
after team list.
Bloke Monday, and then SC Playbook Tuesday, then into beers?
Yeah, we pre-record beers after Playbook of a Tuesday night for a Wednesday release, just so it saves me, hopefully, not having to go up on Wednesday. Yeah.
For sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then what does it look like during the season? So then that comes out Wednesday, and then it's about website articles, replying DMs, and then roll into Thursday. That's all that leading into the first game?
Yeah, it doesn't stop, mate. What do I do?
Fuck, man.
So Thursday I do the halfback punting podcast. Thursday, so I do that, and I do a Q&A podcast also of a Thursday. They're both done remotely, thankfully.
Yeah, nice.
So that'll be the Thursday job.
Oh, is that when you're like the neighbours? You just keep it down for a second.
Yeah, that's where the remote recording comes in, and it's like,
right,
stop your Renault's neighbours, because try and record.
Any danger? I'm the biggest NRL Supercoach content creator on the planet, and I need to get to work.
It's safe to say I will not be going over to tell a bunch of tradies to stop so I can finish my podcast.
Imagine.
Yeah, we just try and time it, but I think the Renos are almost done.
That's unbelievable. Fingers crossed. But that's a huge week, especially during. So no wonder the season, once it gets underway, gets so hectic. But now is kind of chill.
Now's good.
That's cool.
Now's good, yeah.
Let's talk about Bloke for a little bit. How did that come about? So, Rue brought you on, and then Kempy's kept you on?
People say Rue brought me on, and I want to kill people when they say that, because we
Apologies.
Yeah, it's all right. You've been warned, all right?
Okay.
So just don't make the same mistake.
Okay, I can see a little finger underneath the table there.
Yeah. Rue and I collabed.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Okay, well, thankfully we cleared that up. Because anyone who was watching Beers and Break Even and Rue was talking shit about taking Timmy on, that's a fucking lie. So don't do it.
Because I was the Supercoach space, Rue was dabbling in it but wanted to get more into it.
Yeah.
So we got together, and he sort of mentioned at the time that he had access to the Bloke studio, and he goes,
Unreal.
Let's put a show together. We had a beer at the Chloe Hotel, hence the name, but all great things do tend to lead back to a beer at the pub, and all great plans. The Chloe Hotel, Clovelly, yep, and then said he had access to Bloke. He goes, he had some ideas, and I'd never had anything to do through it at that time, and I sort of said, yep, sounds good, mate. How good going into studio, like very official productions, that's unreal. Cheers to the pool man.
Frankie the pool man, he's out of here. Yeah. Take it easy, mate. Have a good one.
Said, yep, cool, let's do it, mate. Let's put some stuff together. So we had access to the Bloke studio, and that went on for about, 2 or 3 months. And then there was an opening on the Bloke in a Bar podcast, and Kempy was sort of like, who do I want as a third sort of thing? And Rue had sort of started on the back end of that year prior.
Sure.
And Roo sort of, the legend that he is, put my name forward. He said, mate, this bloke knows his footy. He'll be great for study and watching every game. And
Unreal.
It's a full-on operation, the bloke podcast, to be prepped for the Monday.
I could just imagine. What is that like? What is that like leading into a Monday? Let's say the season preview's coming up. What does that look like on the Sunday? Is it like back and forth fire, like a chat, da-da-da-da?
So this sounds like the biggest whinge of all time, but you have to watch every minute of every game of footy. I know people sit and say, oh, tough life, but because you're going out there and the podcast gets such big numbers, you're like, and we talk about, the podcast, for anyone who's never heard of it, goes for like 4 hours. And we review every game from the weekend, and there'll be times where we'll talk about a game for 50 minutes. So you need to remember the moment that this bloke made this tackle or slipped off this tackle and it led to a quick play of the ball that led to the match-defining try or something. Right. Not just the try, the 2 tackles leading into it, to talk about. And if you've missed any of it, you just like sort of fall behind kind of thing.
And you don't want to fall behind on a production like that, right?
No, you can't afford to, sort of thing. And when I say the watching every game, watching it's not the problem. It's, all right, I'm at the pub with my mates.
Yeah, sure.
I can't sit at the pub and analyse a game. Like when I'm watching a game, I sit there and I take note after note after note after note for Monday. And if I'm at the pub, I'm obviously chatting and having a beer and I'm not watching it, through a microscope.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, and I watch a lot of games at the pub, shock. So Sunday night, I'm going back and I'm not going to rewatch a whole game because there's not enough hours in the week, but I'll do the mini matches of a game I've already watched, which go for sort of 20 minutes.
Wow.
And then I redo my notes and make sure I touch up on things. And if you ever miss a game, you've got to go back and do that game. And then and if you feel like any of your games you're a bit short on, or you're like, I probably didn't see enough of this, that's when I'll go, all right, Monday morning I won't drive. I'll make sure that I train, because then I can sort of have another hour and a half on the way up to do more notes. So it's all of that into the podcast on Monday, which is 4 hours of recording time alone. And the difference between, I think why the podcast is so successful, aside from the obvious what Kempy's built over the years and how good he is at it, like Matty Johns kills it, James Graham kills it, Gus Gould had his and all that, but they have such a ridiculous amount of runs on the board over the years, rightly so, that they can half watch a game of footy or do this or have a throwaway line that's like, did you watch the game, or like, that doesn't add up or anything, and people will go, it's Matty Johns, like who cares? Rightly so. If Guru or I miss something, we have a throwaway line that probably doesn't add up, we get ripped to shreds. As we should, because they don't go, but Tim played 300 NRL games. Because he didn't. Maybe with the West Devils, but 30. But so you need to have your foot on the ball, and it's freaking awesome.
Oh man, it sounds awesome, but it sounds like a lot of work.
It's
work
more than,
that you love.
It's more than jumping on the pod and dribbling about footy, because you have to be dialed in.
100%. I could only imagine. And so Kempy, I'm sure a lot of my listeners and a lot of people out there would want to know, what's he actually like in real life? Having never met him, he seems like a legend of a bloke.
Champion, mate.
Is his nose as big as everybody says?
Huge. I do get upset a little bit at times because he gets all this attention for his beak. Literally got the nickname Beak.
Beak, yeah.
I've got one of the great honkers on me. And like Beaks for a bloke who's played a lot of footy in NRL, he's just straight. Like, I'm covering 3 different postcodes with mine at any given time. So I'm like, there are times where I'm like, hello, like, surely I've got a Beak 2.0 or something about me. But
is it because Beak's been taken? Would you want to is there another Beak nickname that you sort of floated for yourself? Like, did he give himself Beak?
That's a great question. I don't know where it originated.
I wonder where it originated. If he gave it to himself, fair play, but you got in first.
Yeah.
What would you give yourself if you had to?
I don't know. I just get Owen Wilson all the time. Especially like my hair. I've got a bit more of a trimmed haircut now, but a couple of years ago it got a bit longer and looser and curlier, and I copped a lot of Owen Wilson. So
is that the SC Playbook like sort of main photo of you?
Yeah,
about 13 years ago.
I don't update things like LinkedIn and certain photos and all that very often. So yeah, a lot of them still have me of long curly hair. And
Owen Wilson's not a bad shout though.
Oh, it's great.
Do you hate that?
No, I love
it. Right?
There's heaps worse than Owen Wilson that float about. Yeah.
Do you ever get people coming up to you at the pub, like me, wrangle you in the conversation, and just get you to say, "Wow"?
I haven't had that, thankfully, because I'd just make a disgrace
Oh
of
no!
myself.
Okay, if you're listening, don't get Tim to do
No,
it. If
don't
you see
do
him
that.
at the beaches or at the Ryans or anything
Yeah.
like that, don't get him to do it.
No.
because he will fucking just jab you in the face.
Let's just have a beer. Heaps easier for everyone. So, yeah, anyway.
Oh, man. Owen Wilson's not bad.
No, I can take that.
Dupree.
Yeah.
Just quickly, Owen Wilson favourite movie?
Ooh. Oh, I love Zoolander.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
It's so dumb.
Preach it to the choir.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid, but I freaking love it.
Mate, one of the greats.
Him and Ben Stiller in that are just outstanding. Yeah.
So being on Bloke, it must just be surreal. Now that you've been there established 3 or 4 years in, like, what's next? Like, you're opening up SC Playbook to all genres. You're on Bloke. You're on 1,000 different podcasts every week. Now you're on the main pod. Wollongong's #1. Is there anything you want to tick off, like this year, in the future, for yourself, personally?
Pretty happy with how things are going.
Mate, it's unreal.
I'm probably a bit more focused on the business side of things and growing across our different sports and whatnot, as opposed to my personal brand and all that. But what I have been taught over the years is that, my personal brand is SC Playbook. Like, when I launched it, I'm like, genuinely, this is a team. I don't want it to be just me and all that. And it's great because, if people think I'm talking shit and like, my stats are off or this, whatever, I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, go listen to the other 10 people we've got in the NRL network and that. But, learning that SC Playbook, it is a team effort and there are contributors and podcasters, but I need to sort of put my face to things a little bit more, which I was so reluctant to do earlier on. Now I'm kind of just like, it's part of the game.
Is that what like Kempy sort of lent into as well? He saw like a massive rise in Bloke when he started just like being himself.
Yeah.
Have you seen that change once you've become like yourself on SC Playbook and like a bit more of your personality?
For sure. And it's probably more so the socials than anything.
Like, yeah, right.
I can do that easily in lean into my personality and sort of be natural on the podcast, but it's things like the face to camera social video and doing that in your backyards, and you're like, I hate doing all that sort of stuff, but like it's part of the game. And Guru sort of pushed me down. Mate, you have to do it if you want to grow your socials. Yeah. He's the king of content in the Roo, and it's been sort of leaning into that. So in terms of Playbook this year and moving forward, it's expanding across all these different sports. As I said, AFL Supercoach content coming into SC Playbook this season as well. But in terms of like what I'm doing in the podcast, it's happy with where it's all going. Got a great gig on Bloke, the show with Guru, all the SC Playbook content as well, and it's just, there are so many content creators coming into the game, and the beauty of the community is that it's very collaborative. Like, the content creators get along, and
mate, look at today.
Yeah,
look at today. You're taking some time.
And it's not just Supercoach is very good for it, but NRL in general. Like, you see people jump on each shows and all that, but I think from like an internal competitive perspective, it's, you see all these great content creators coming out with podcasts and social stuff, and it's kind of that kick in the butt to make sure that, all right, what am I going to do new this year to make the product better? We've got a big subscriber base to make sure that they're getting value for their money to subscribe to SC Playbook and make sure they'll come back and just better it, sort of thing.
Yeah, so, amazing, mate. I'm incredibly proud of what you've achieved. Like, just from afar, like a lot of the blokes. Like, I see your YouTube, 3,000, 8,000, 12,000, all about Supercoach, and then your Bloke, mate. It's and inspiring for all the blokes out there just want to give stuff a crack, even though you've been doing it for 5-6 years now. I'm definitely following those footsteps, even though I'm early in the journey. We'll move on to you're recently with the bloody brilliant Beers boys.
The lads.
Up there in Queensland, the shithole. Lovely state. Beautiful. Go there for a holiday.
People questionable. Choice of sports teams.
Where do you look? You got two heads.
Who
are you talking to?
Yeah.
You got 4 eyes and 2 heads.
There's so much potential there. They just pick better.
Caxton Hotel or the Illawarra Hotel?
Oh, the Illa.
Every day of the week. Right in your face, lads. I'll put this to you. Illawarra Hotel versus Caxton Hotel. Origin bet. Brilliant Beers Boys versus Mean Pod and SC Playbook. Loser, well, they have to come up with something. Losers come down to the state. The winners come down to the state and then celebrate in each other's backyards. I'll shout the beers if you guys come down. God forbid Queensland winning. But if you guys are keen, hit me up. If you want to play ball, or you're a bunch of pansies. Up to you. Problem
is, if we get the boys down here, they'll never leave. They'll smell the flowers of the gong and they'll be like,
God,
let's stay.
They're never going anywhere.
We don't want them here permanently.
Absolutely. Now, quickly just on Origin. I'm a little bit so-so about this state of this series. A little bit so-so. If we win, there's every chance that Laurie Daly gets re-signed. And if we lose, that means we've lost. But then there's a potential of a new coach. I just don't know about Laurie Daly. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if Loz wins...
Do you reckon he gets re-signed?
If
we win, does Laurie Daly become coach for 27-28?
Oh, yeah, you don't sack a winning coach.
That's what I mean, though. But he made some blunders last year. You can't tell me he didn't make any blunders.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great.
Honestly, it's the worst series I've ever seen in my life.
It was one of the great bed shits, yes.
It was awful. If that happens again, obviously he's out the window.
Yeah.
So there's just a little bit of a lukewarmish feeling about this Origin series coming up. I just don't know. Don't know where I'm at.
We're stinging. It was like, I say it was the unlosable series, but I feel like there's been about 4 of those in the last 8 or so years.
Dead set it has been.
It's kind of becoming a common theme, isn't it?
100%.
But if Loz can come out and get the job done for us this year, he will stay. And he should stay. You don't sack a bloke who wins the series.
No, you can't.
But we'll see.
We'll see. There's floating that they're going to bring the camp to Wollongong.
They're going to what?
The Blues camp might be coming to Wollongong.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they're floating that. It's either that, Victoria, or I think Coogee, Sydney. Those were the Fox Sports.
Where do they do it at?
They have been doing it out of Blue Mountains.
Where would they do it in the Gong?
In the Gong, probably Kiama.
Okay.
Probably Kiama down there.
Mate, my old headquarters, Trenchtown at Campus East. It's now the Dragons training facility.
Oh, okay, right. Was that yours?
They've wiped us from the earth.
They have.
Wow,
that looks sensational.
I think it was old migrant quarters in the 40s or something during World War II, and I was fortunate enough to spend a couple of years in Trenchy. But it's now the hallowed turf of the Dragons, and I think Cookie's running amok over where I used to sleep.
Would be. That's the only thing shit about being in Wollongong is that everyone thinks you're a Dragons fan.
Yeah.
You're like, shit no. St. George, Illawarra, nepotisms.
Dragons territory, yeah.
It is Dragons territory. I'm a Tigers man, by the way.
And, that's heaps better.
Yeah. Our last little dagger as we sign off. I'm a Tigers man. I have been through and through, obviously growing up in Campbelltown. And I've got high hopes about this year. And I've been a broken record for the last 10 years. But I've got high hopes. You're talking Terrell May. The May brothers look sexy as fuck. The Fainu brothers look sexy. Luai, he's not Batman. He's Iron Man or Thor or some shit.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm super toey about the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, if we narrow it down to 30 players and what they're capable of, you should be toey. But
we should be.
I'm more worried about the shit going on off the field that never seems to silence. And unfortunately, after supporting rugby league for a fairly long time, there's a common theme in most teams that go poorly. There's 2. One is when injuries hit. Number 2 is when the back end is going poorly. So hopefully, and to be honest, I think every rugby league fan is sitting there going, come on the Tigers, play finals, be on the up. On the field, there's promise. It's just such a mess behind scenes.
Mate, honestly, I hope Benji is enough of like a wall to like block that sort of stuff out and just get the boys
worry
together.
About the footy, boys. Don't worry about the shit going on elsewhere.
Don't worry, let me handle that.
Yeah.
Fucking morons. Let's just handle the footy. But mates, the sun's been beaming in your eyes. If you're watching on YouTube, poor old Tim's been sitting.
It's found me, it has found me.
It's dead set been baking for the last 25 minutes. So, mate, on that note, thank you so much for coming on, taking some time out of your Thursday here at the Illawarra Hotel. Jump on the Mean podcast. Hope it's not the last time we don't see you. We might be able to catch up later on in the year, like mid-season. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure just getting to know you, just getting to understand your mindset about giving things a crack, where you are now. Unbelievable just to even meet you. It's what's that show, like the Twilight Zone, when you're like watching something and then all of a sudden you're in it. You know what I mean? What's that thing? Is it the Twilight Zone?
I don't know. That's beyond me. I stick to Supercoach.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, it feels good, mate. Legend. Thanks so much for coming on.
Appreciate you having me, mate. And I scored a free schooner out of it. So, look, it's been a good afternoon.
Absolutely, mate. Boys, girls, Mean Potters and Poddettes, that's us, episode 45 of the Mean Podcast. Tim Williams from SC Playbook. You go to scplaybook.com and you follow the prompts, subscribe if you actually want to take Supercoach serious or if you want to have a bit of fun. Go to SC Playbook, watch Beers and Break Evens, even go to the Roo Crew, do whatever you got to do because you'll be in the grand final just like I was. But tell your mates you love them, of course, and we Audi 5000. We'll see you next week. Legend. Thanks,
Beautiful.
bro. Love you lots.
It was good fun, mate.
Thanks,
Cheers.
man.
Whoa, very nice.
You've been baking there for ages. I was like,